Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Bring It On.
Sure.
A couple of quests to wrap up here in Brackenbury. And then I'd like to return to the Salty Mast and see about buying that unique poleaxe for Pallegina.
Well met, friend.
The fancy elf eyes you and your pack. Did you do it? Did you get the medallion from Sorel? Give medallion. Yes. First one's eyes are as wide and round as the artifact in his hands. You've given my people a gift we couldn't possibly repay. I'll do the best I can, though. He shows a bag of coin into your hands. This is everything I have. Take it, please. Thank you. You'll always be an honored guest among the Shattering Spear. Farewell. He hurries out of the inn, his fancy cloak dragging on the ground. Alright, to the sanitarium. What is the name of the woman we're looking for there? Nance.
Yeah.
I'm hoping she repairs the scepter, then we can give it to Aloth. That she doesn't want to keep it for herself.
Right.
I believe she's the woman that we met down in the basement. Only because there was not a quest associated with her yet. And I don't remember her name. So, we'll check there first. Nope, that's not her. Can't go in either one of those doors. Alright, back upstairs. Oh, there she is.
Well met, friend.
An elderly woman peruses the shelves with a quickness and an energy that belie her age. I'm afraid I don't practice anymore, child. Too busy with my research. What do you do here? I'm an animancer. Used to venture on all kinds of underfunded and ill-fated trips out of the expedition hall when I was your age. But lately, I found research better suited to my current pace. She pats a creaking knee and laughs. Nans regards you with bright, intelligent eyes. Can I help you with something else? I'd like to know more about the sanitarium. It's the official center of animancy in Defiance Bay, founded in 2729. Before you get saucy, no, I wasn't around at the time. It's built to treat ailments of the mind and soul. Important sort of place to have in a growing city, and its construction marked the end of the animancy slowdown that followed the Bale Reach accident. The Bale Reach accident. She shakes her head. A terrible setback for the discipline. A researcher working outside the Bale Marsh shattered the souls of a dozen volunteers. Her voice lowers to a growl. Of course, we'll never know exactly what went wrong, because the mob tore him to pieces. This mishap bears some of the blame for the slower pace of research the 2.5 decades that followed. It also helped concentrate practicing animancers here in Defiance Bay. The model sent me. He said he'd be interested in these scepter pieces we found. That chatty old fishwife's been blabbing about me, I see. She laughs and rolls her eyes. Never trust your secrets to a man with so much salt in his beard. Anyway, see what you've got. Nans examines the scepter, her eyes hooded by crinkled flesh. Model told you true. I'll buy this. Unfortunately, a broken scepter isn't as valuable as he may have led you to believe. She steals a glance at your face, but her fingers tighten around the piece in her hands. I'll take it off you for 500. Nonsense. This could easily be repaired by someone with the proper skills. Her eyes flash under their sagging lids. I've got the skills all right. And you know more than the average relic hunter I see. Making it whole again is a matter of alchemy. Expensive alchemy. I've got to soak the broken ends in a fiend's blood compound to reconnect them. Never mind the embalming work to restore the enchantments. He eyes you. I could do it to the tune of 1,800 pans. I'm giving you a rare opportunity to work with an scepter. Surely you can bring the price down. Aye. Perhaps you want to bargain and haggle with every dragon blood vendor and import merchant in the city. She puffs her sagging cheeks. Very well. You have the satisfaction of working an old woman to an early grave for only 1,500. Alright, I get 1,500 CP. 1,500 it is. I expect you want to watch and see what your money's put to good use. Better get comfortable then. She lays out an array of powders, potions, and other obscure ingredients on her desk. After what feels like hours, she returns to the main hall with you and presents the scepter. Looking at it, you never know it had been broken in the first place. So it'd be the finest work I've ever done, if I may say so. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. Examining a piece like that is a dream come true for someone in my field. He gazes at it wistfully. Take good care of it. It's not even unique. I paid 1,500 for this. And 20% attack speed. The Gwithin weapon was restored from fragments you found in Andra's gift. The shaft is covered with invocations. The opal finial is inscribed with runes. Alright, so we'll give this to Aloth.
Yeah.
Cost me an arm and a leg for it. It's not even that good. I was expecting a unique item. Not just some run-of-the-mill scepter. That's okay. Back to the Salty Mast. We'll see about buying that poleaxe, and I think we're set to go to a Heritage Hill. I'll check my quest log after. Now, I may not buy this poleaxe. I want to see if it's one of the weapons that this merchant has for sale that has a unique effect. Because a lot of the weapons in this club are unique, but generic at the same time.
Right.
Oh, I can talk to him now. Tell me about this place. He folds his arms. Broadly speaking, you're in the club for refined and prestigious gentlemen, on the upper floor of the Salty Mast. He tilts his head. More specifically, in the members-only lounge, which means you've been part of the club for at least a year. He eyes you suspiciously. Our rules are strict. They keep the riffraff out. Mostly. Yeah, so this is one of the ones that has a unique effect. So we're going to buy this. It's going to take all of my money. Almost all of my money.
Yeah.
But we can still afford some upgrades for the keep. That's all I care about. Alright, we'll leave the Salty Mast, I'll check my quest log, and then we'll probably go to Heritage Hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I still have a couple major quests
The
out.
safety of the Republics is being decided here. If I do what needs to be done, there'll be time enough to beg forgiveness when the dust settles.
You must do what you feel is best. I understand.
So a couple major quests outside of Defiance Bay. Want to finish exploring this city before we go do those. Try to knock it all out in one fell swoop if we can. I do want to look at the upgrades for that poleaxe. I'll offer on that for now, because
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can afford any upgrades for the keep. I'm a sent around traveler. Heritage Hill is closed.
Right.
Why?
Greetings.
The guard holds up a palm. Sorry, this district's closed by order of the Duke himself. How do I get inside? Wait, I don't have 18 might, I only have 16. How do I get inside? Trust me, you don't want to. The guard shrugs. If you're really set on seeing this for yourself, I suppose you'd have to get permission from Willa at the Keep in First Fires. Was there anything else? Would some coin open the gate for me? Guards glance at each other. Look, we can get in a lot of trouble for this, but then Psyche can make things worse in there. And it's 1,000 pans. I open the gate and then look the other way. I go bother trying to bargain us down. I mean, it'll make sure our families are okay if we're found out. And never mind. Was there anything else? What's going on in there? Both guards look at each other. Look, even if I were allowed to tell you, I don't rightly know. All I can say is, whatever it is, started about 2 months ago. The guards that closed the gate talked of something unnatural that still wakes them in the middle of the night. I don't want to know any more than that. Well, me neither. I'm sure the main quest will take us there. Alright, to First Fires. This is the Vailian
Adele,
embassy.
how is it you Eothasians stay so optimistic? The world has not given your kind much reason to hope.
You get to a certain point and you realize you got two options. You can go mad with grief and tear out all your hair and check yourself into the sanitarium, or you can wait for better days.
Well, feathers in my case. But I understand your point.
You may hear my cat in the background. He thinks it's time to eat, but it's not. He's on a very strict schedule since he has diabetes. With you insulin with every meal.
This looks like the place Maywald described.
He's not happy about it. I'll save that for later. Got other things to do right now.
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
What? The Vailian embassy. Gavin Reg. I feel like we've read about this guy before, but maybe not. I mentioned the name Reg in Erglon Foth. You'll be told stories of a glorious freedom fighter. Nolan who used his tactical savvy and battle training to protect the Glunfathan from the encroaching evil of the invaders in the Deerwood. Ask someone in the Deerwood about him, you'll hear angry retellings of the exploits of an underhanded, dirty fighting Orlin who terrorized Deerwooden citizens. This conflict is what legends are built on, and Galvin Reg is the stuff of legends. The Brokenstone War began from a misunderstanding between the Glenfathans who lived in the Deerwood and the Adirian colonists who were moving in. Jeez. Tensions were already high between the two groups, as the Adirians claimed land the Glenfathans said they already owned. Add to it the Glenfathans taken and forced into slavery by the Adirian, it was only a matter of time before something snapped and sent the two groups to war. There was the occasional skirmish or fight between isolated groups, but no real conflict until the Brokenstone War. Whether intentional or not, Adirian farmers, clearing land for their crops, knocked over and destroyed one of the ancient menhirs that dotted the countryside. Glenfathans, who revered the ancient structures in the Deerwood, reacted swiftly and violently, led by a particularly fanatical Fang by the name of Reg. While the war was short-lived, the Glenfathans were ultimately not the victors. Reg and his forces were able to eliminate a significant number of colonists. After the war ended, Reg was appointed the Galvin, or leader of the Glenfathan tribes. His leadership skills and prowess in battle earned him the respect of all the tribes of Ir Glenfath. Because all the tribes were unified behind him, he was able to move and coordinate their warriors in a way that organized them as such an efficient team. The Adirian colonists lived in fear of his next attack. His name and reputation spread through both lands. Over 2 years following the Brokenstone War, Reg and his forces, using deception, misinformation, and straightforward guerrilla tactics, killed hundreds. The remaining earls send word to the fair Koning, saying something must be done before more nobility is killed. Reg continues to terrorize the colonists, and it seems the campaign will never end. That is, until he encountered Edring Hadrit.
Huh?
Ambassador Augusti, I would speak with you on a matter of some urgency and great importance.
Pallegina smiles broadly when she addresses the ambassador. Sighing as though remembering some heavy burden. Is it Viscount? Viscount crosses his arms before replying. Pallegina, if this is the same matter we previously discussed, I doubt I'll be convinced any more easily. Remain silent.
Ambassador, I implore you to take a step back and look at this again.
Ambassador Agosti holds up his hand and cuts Pallegina off in a strident tone. Enough. We're not going over Defiance Bay's animancers again. The Duke's Bell's desires have not changed since the last time we spoke. You haven't heard. Word of your insubordination has already found the ears of the Duchessa of Biajepi and the Duke of Salona. I said that right, Biajepi? There are murmurs that you cannot be trusted to fulfill your duties. Must this talk reach the shores of Spirento? Pallegina's aggressive demeanor drains to a state of shock and worry, but she remains silent. Let's say nothing.
What is it the Dukes need of me, Ambassador?
Pallegina recovers her determined demeanor. The Deerwood's instability has created an opportunity for us to take over their trade with Ir Glenfath. We'll need to meet with the Glenfathans soon to secure upcoming trade arrangements. The roads to Twin Elms can be dangerous, of course. That's why you'll be our representative there.
Echosi, Ambassador. But won't this provoke the Deerwoodens? Their country is falling apart, and we are already dividing up their trade alliances.
Pallegina's feathers ruffle, but she speaks with an unusually meek timbre. Provoke them into what? Going to war? Through no fault of the Republics, the Deerwood's armies have been deprived of an entire generation of soldiers. It would be foolish not to take advantage of the situation. If we don't, Great Sirens will. It does make sense, Pallegina. The Deerwood has problems, and sooner or later, someone's going to profit from it.
Madiko. When I walked in here, I didn't think we were going to be talking about how to chop up the Deerwood's corpse.
Pallegina is taken aback. Viscount holds up his hands to set Pallegina at ease. That's not what we're talking about. This is just business. Pallegina raises an eyebrow and clenches her jaw but remains silent. Pallegina. He shakes his head. Go to Twin Elms. Speak to the Anna Menfoth. Impress upon her the instability of the Deerwood, and reassure her of the Vailian Republic's desire to open safe trade.
Of course, Ambassador.
After a long and uncomfortable pause, Pallegina exhales deeply, the lids of her eyes closing briefly. She slumps in acceptance. I wasn't sure which way she wanted to go at first. I should just remain silent, I think. The ambassador nods and smiles paternally. He then looks to you. I know you plan on investigating this crisis together, but I hope you understand Pallegina's responsibilities. A nod non-committally. I can twist his mouth as he attempts to divine your intent, but gives up after a long moment. Very well. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Could have gone better. Could have gone worse. Not that you helped put up much of a fight.
She narrows her eyes. What's to fight? You have your orders, and you're already in trouble with the Dukes.
I know, but it's still frustrating. I've spent enough time moping anyway. Now I just need to figure out how to get to Twin Elms before the ambassador loses his patience.
I was supposed to talk to her first. I got to speak to her at the beginning of the episode. Then I could have probably divined what she intended initially here. As she pauses in thought. Still, I fear that making this deal with the Glenfothans will further weaken the Deerwood, make trouble for the Republics in the years to come. Just follow your orders, Pallegina. It's the least likely path to trouble.
Of course, Frero.
Grits her teeth and nods. Yeah. May not get along. We'll see.
Gods keep you.
What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you? What do you do here? As a Vailian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade at the Deerwood remains strong and profitable. There's nothing else. Must return to my duties. Tell me about the Vailian Republics. They are rich in all ways, in wealth, and style, and culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I'm here because the Sangreta Ducala wishes it. When my appointment is done, I'll be on the first ship out. Now I'll sing from here to Salona. Pallegina said he could use my help with something. Ah yes, very true. His jovial countenance hardens. I've heard word of Meister Verzano's death. While it is regrettable, even he had to know his fate was a possibility, given the sort of people he was crossing. But on to business. Rather notorious adventuring party calling themselves the Forgotten have made a name for themselves by raiding Ingwithan ruins in the Deerwood, and selling the stolen relics to their patrons back in the Vailian Republics. I need them stopped. I'm sure you're aware that the trading Ingwithan relics is strictly forbidden in the Deerwood. Were it known that prominent nobles in the Republics were flagrantly defying the Duke's ban on the looting of Ingwithan ruins, it would put a number of valuable trade agreements in jeopardy, or even cause Defiance Bay to embargo Vailian goods. I can't let that happen. The authorities in Defiance Bay have no idea the smuggling is going on. I'm sure rumors have reached their ears, but if they suspected that there was any truth to them, they'd have summoned me before them. This hasn't happened yet. Why not just have the Forgotten killed? He shakes his head. I hear the town criers now. Vailian ambassador hires assassins. No, that option is too risky for me. Well, I'll help. What do you need me to do? He smiles in relief. Thank you. Prominent merchant in the Republics, Meister Barkozy, has also developed an interest in obtaining Ingwithan relics, and sent a buyer to Defiance Bay to meet with the Forgotten. I arranged for the Knights of the Crucible to detain the buyer for questioning. I may have suggested that the buyer was a wanted criminal. I needed to go in the buyer's place, posing as Barkozy's representative, to learn how the Forgotten are smuggling the relics through Defiance Bay. With that knowledge, I can take steps to discreetly dismantle their operation, discredit them in the eyes of their patrons. Farewell.
Right.
I'm assuming I haven't burned a bridge with Pallegina yet. I'll probably have a choice when it comes to the quest later on, but we'll see. These postings show current prices for a range of commodities, and they track the running exchange rate for the Vailian Luce. Luce? Luske? Lush? Okay, we'll speak to Pallegina first thing in the next episode. I want to finish exploring this place this episode. Read this before?
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
Ready, Watcher.
Huh?
Be cautious. Be constant.
Spread across the table are the blueprints of an in-progress trade deal between a merchant company from the Republics and your wooden werewolf collective. Flag depicts the symbol of the Vailian Republics, a ship sailing beneath 5 radiant stars.
Margaren's
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Obsidian lamp figurine, summoned 3 shades. This lamp seems to swallow light, showing no reflection upon its surface. It's cold to the touch. When held to one's ear, a quiet susurrus can be heard. The lamp is sealed with a piece of cork, which a single rune is inscribed.
Huh?
Alright, so that's it here. Let's go and speak to Pallegina then.
I'm ready. Need something?
Pallegina's eyes glimmer with a divine spark as she coolly appraises you. I'd like to know your opinion on something. She nods her feathered head sharply. Ask, and you will know. How do you think things are going? I think it would go better if you didn't treat reason like a key that could unlock every problem that comes our way. She waves a finger at you with a slight annoyance. Now everyone is ruled by their mind. Try to cage passion with logic, you'll fail every time. You spent a lot of time in the Deerwood. What do you make of it? It's not the Republic's. The Deerwood is one of our closest allies. We traded more with the Deerwood than any other nation. We have no greater ally in supporting animancy research. Pallegina shakes her head slightly. Still, I don't understand the Deerwooden obsession with revenge and feuds, or the widespread hatred of Orlans. The Orlans from Irglonfoth fight for their homes and their culture, as anyone would. They fight dirty, but I would too if all my enemies were twice my size. Do the Republics view the Adir Empire as a threat? We used to view the Empire as a threat. Since the revolution in Deerwood, Republics have benefited from the shield that the Deerwood provides. It's another reason why I fear the fall of the Defiance Bay. If the Deerwood is weak, Deer will surely test the Republic's dominance in the Eastern Reach. What do you know of Roatai? They've done impressive things with cannon and artillery, and some of their ship designs are interesting. But they shout too loudly over minor accomplishments. She smiles softly. No one seriously questions that the Republics control all sea lanes in the Eastern Reach. Talk about something else. The membranes of Pallegina's golden eyes slide out and back as she softly nods. Why are you concerned about Animancy and Defiance Bay? People look at the Republics as a nation of traders. We do not engage in much commercial trade through Defiance Bay. The greatest value we have found is not written on a ledger line. It is intellectual wealth, the ideas that we exchange. The Deerwood and the Vailian Republics are the world's leaders in Animancy. The Deerwood institutes prohibitions against research and practice of Animancy will have serious repercussions for the Vailian Republics. You see Animancy as just something to be traded. He snorts dismissively. I'm not a scientist, but I believe Animancy can benefit us all. There are so many questions to be answered about who we are, why I am the way I am. If we can answer them, maybe we can make life better for everyone. Don't you think there are dangers in Animancy? Of course it's dangerous. We who live in the Eastern Reach, we're the children of pioneers. We sought out the danger. She nods her head decisively. This is why all the best research must happen in the New World. Where in the Vailian Republics are you from? I was born in a fishing village near Biajepi? Still hope I'm saying that right. Her brow furrows, her golden eyes looking away as she searches for a lost memory. Can't remember the name. She waves her feathered hand dismissively. I was only there for a few years. My best memory was leaving the place. Like all the other brothers, I grew up under the Ozian bastions. It wasn't easy, but I prefer it to gutting fish. You're one of the godlike, aren't you? He lets out a small laugh. That's what they call me, yes. I've never met a god, so I don't know what they're like. I can't see why everyone else presumes to understand why I was born this way. How do people in the Vailian Republics feel about the godlike? Like with anyone who's different, most people are curious or afraid. If they're afraid, she shrugs. They get angry. They want to make sense of the world, and people like me can be confusing. And believe me, people are easily confused. Her tone becomes more serious as her voice and gaze drift off. After a long moment, she looks back to you. We all have to protect ourselves, no matter where we are. Being different means always looking over your shoulder, no matter what company you keep. I was wondering about your order, Brotherhood of the Five Sons. Pallegina nods softly. Back in the Republics, we call it the Feramos Mes Consuolius? The Five Sons of the Duke's Bells, the great dukes who rule over the most powerful republics, Ferento, Akenzi, Salona, Ozia, and Revwa. The Duke's Bells keeps the republics moving forward, keep us at the forefront of trade and technology, keep us strong against our rivals. We brothers are sworn to aid and protect them for the good of the republics and their citizens. You say brothers, but my breastplate bulges in the wrong spot. She cracks a small grin. I may look like a woman and sound like a woman, but according to the Republic's laws, I'm not. What they call godlike, people like me, we can never bear children, so we can't be real women, for what that's worth. Most women in the Republics, if they can't bear children, it's like the sun is set on their lives. What it was worth to me, freedom. Brotherhood has a prohibition against women entering, but I was allowed. Many resented the decision, but I learned long ago not to care. I wanted to ask you something else about the Brotherhood. Pallegina nods sharply. How does that work? With 5 dukes, they can't agree all the time. Throws her head back and laughs. Ha ha ha. Of course not. They argue endlessly in the Sangreta Ducala. The Brotherhood is forbidden to take sides in their debates. Not that I'd want to. Rather risk life and limb fighting the Republic's enemies than listen to the droning lectures of the Ducal Congress. Our loyalty is not two individual dukes, but to the dukes as a whole, to their collective will and resolutions. We follow the mandates of the Ducal Congress. The individual dukes direct us. They have an understanding of how we're not to be used. What's so great about the Vailian Republics? Long ago, the Grand Empire of Vailia thrived. As the Empire collapsed into the warring states of Old Vailia, much of that old culture was lost. The Old Vailians see grandeur in the acts of their forebears, and believe it elevates them. They are a tired people from a fading time. There was once beauty in the great cities of the Empire, but there are few alive today who ever saw it. The Vailian Republics are a rebirth of grand Vailian culture, who are more than just that. While Old Vailia was content to look ever backward, the Republics will shape the future. When did you become a brother? I joined the Order when I was very young, only 6. I did not pass my final examinations until I was 20. It's not something I ever expected to happen. Pirates attacked the town where my family lived. It was not uncommon when I was young. They were more of a nuisance than a real threat, but they were persistent enough that the Duke of Ozia saw fit to send the Framos to deal with the threat. I was enamored with the idea of being one of them. I didn't even know what it meant to serve a country then. I didn't really even know what the republics were. I was just a little girl. But maybe I wanted to be them because I saw how people celebrated them. I saw how people thanked them for what they did. Most of all, I saw how they left this place that felt like a prison to me. So how did you wind up joining? My father resented me and my presence. When he learned that the Brotherhood accepted my kind, because we were not considered women, He asked if I could be traded in exchange for taxes he owed on his land. The recruiter believed that having a godlike among the ranks would be prestigious, so he accepted in spite of my physical limitations. Why does your father resent you? Because I was born different, but more than that, because the birth hurt my mother, left her unable to bear more children. She weakly shrugs her shoulders. So my father traded me to the Brotherhood. My mother, she was a different sort, kinder, more forgiving. Did not blame me for being what I was. My father looked at me. He saw his family line ended. He hated me for it. That's strange. Our lives are strange. There are other ways my father could have dealt with me. He could have killed me at birth. No one in that village would have thought less of him. She shrugs, membranes of her eyes sliding out and back from beneath her eyelids. Being sold to the Brotherhood turned out to be the better alternative. Was it difficult? It was more difficult than I had imagined, but I was a child. Children fail to understand the true difficulty of things, but it makes them resilient to the doubt that plagues us in old age. Still, childhood eventually gives way to adolescence. It was then that the young men began to hate me for being different. Not godlike, but a woman among them. She shifts uncomfortably. For many years, it was hard to bear. It took me 3 tries to pass the physical test required of all brothers. Such failures are not rare, but was used against me up until the day I left. It wasn't until I entered service I was able to escape the abuse. Now, why did you want to serve the Dukes? I wish I had been born ordinary. Wish I had been born somehow different than I was. Or that I had been born somewhere, sometime where there was a place for me. But I was not. In the Republics, people look at me and they see a godlike. I cannot marry. I cannot even practice a trade in most cities. My appearance is too upsetting to people. Even though I could not be a part of that order, I saw the value in it. I thought that if I could help preserve the Republic's people, preserve the Republics, people would see that there is a place for my kind within our society. The Dukes are good leaders, but they need the Brotherhood to help them. Alright, I believe that's everything.
Sure.
Cool. Alright.
Right.
We'll call the episode here, and the next one we'll continue exploring First Fires. We have a couple quests to take care of here as well. I'll save the Temple of Wodka for last. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.